All right, today we're going to be talking about percents. Percents, and we're going to say here that you can solve problems involving percents using proportions. Let's say using proportions. You can solve problems involving percents using proportions. The equation here's the equation that's used. All right, you use the equation is over of equals percent over 100. And that'll make a little bit more sense when we start doing some of these practice problems. But it's a very simple way for you to calculate percents and solve percent problems. So you're going to see three types of problems today. First type of problem, the first group of problems you're going to see will say something like, what percent of 50 is 20? What percent of 50 is 20? First thing you do when you see this problem is you set up a proportion, and it's like a blank proportion. You go fraction bar equals fraction bar, and you put 100 right here on the bottom right. And now what you do is you have three other variables left to fill into this proportion. You find the is of the problem, and it goes in this numerator. You find the of the problem, it goes in the denominator. And the percent that you're trying to find, or the percent that you're working with, goes in the numerator over 100. So in this case, if you read this problem out loud, it says, what percent? Well, your percent is what you're trying to find. What percent? So there's your variable. What percent of 50? Well, the of in this case is of 50, so the 50 goes here. What percent of 50 is 20? The is in this case is your 20. That's your setup. And then you solve the proportion the same way that you did yesterday. You crisscross multiply. So you take 50 times x, which is 50x, and you make it equal to 20 times 100, which is probably 2,000. You divide both sides by 50. The 50s cancel, and your x is equal to 40. Done. You solved a percent problem using a proportion. All right, make sense? Good, let's try another one. What percent of 56 is 42? All right, so there's your question. Set up your proportion. So you're going to use the template. Everything aligns again. So our is, in this case, is the 42. The of is the 56. You're trying to find the percent because they're asking what percent. So there's your variable. Crisscross multiply. So 56 times x is 56x. 42 times 100 is 4200. Divide both sides by 56. And your x is equal to 75. All right, so let's try this problem. 125% of what number is 17.5? Little different question now. 125% of what number is 17.5? So here's your template. The 125%, there's your percent. So it goes over the 100. Is 17.5. 17.5 is your is. Of what number? Well, if you find two of the three variables, the third variable is what you're trying to find. So now you crisscross multiply again. So x times 125 is 125x. 17.5 times 100 is probably 1750. You can then divide both sides by 125. And your x is equal to 14. What that means is that 125% of 14 is 17.5. And of course, any more than 100% of something has to be a bigger number. So it looks like it makes sense. Any questions so far? Let's do 30% of what number is 12.5? set up your template. %. There's your percent. Of what number? There's your variable. Is 12.5. There's your is. So we take x times 30, which is 30x, and it's equal to 12.5 times 100, which is 1250. If you divide both sides by 30, then your x is equal to 41.67. All right, so let's try this. A shirt normally costs $39. It's on sale for 30% off. What is the sale price? So this is a two-step problem. Because what you've got to find first is the 30% of 39. And then you have to subtract that from the 39. Okay? Because if you got your cost of the shirt, your normal cost, and you subtract the sale percent, or you subtract just the sale, then you have your sale price. So here's our normal cost of 39. What we got to find, the question we need to solve, or the problem we need to solve, is what is the 30% of the $39? We need to find out what 30% of $39 is so we can subtract it. So 30 is our percent. The is what we're trying to find. And the 39 is the of. So once you get your setup, it's the same from here. Crisscross multiply 100x equals 30 times 39, 1170. Divide both sides by 100. These will cancel, and your x is equal to 1170. Now, that's not the end of the problem. The cost of this shirt is $39. It's on sale for 30% off, so we have to subtract the 30%. We got to subtract 1170. So we're going to subtract 1170. So our 39 minus 1170, $27.30. There's your sale price. Let's try you sell a car for 60% less than what you paid. Hopefully you'll never do that. Car cost $9 grand. What was the selling price? So what we got to find now is 60% of this 9,000, right? You find 60% of the 9,000 and you subtract it from the 9,000. And that tells you what the selling price was if you sold it for 60. If you don't ever, somebody made a bad business decision right there. My goodness, here we go. You're trying to find 60% of 9,000. So here's our 60 in the percent. We need the is. We're trying to find out what is 60% of 9,000. There's your setup. All right, so we're going to crisscross multiply this. So we're going to get 100x is equal to 9,000 times 9 times 60. What's that, 54,000? $540. All right. That's 54 and 4 zeros. Yep, you're right. Thank you. Divide both sides by 100. So our x is equal to $5,400. You took a beating on that car, boy. You lost your britches. So what you got to take now is the original price of 9 grand. You've got to subtract the 60%. So we're subtracting $5,400 that you lost on that purchase. Oh my goodness. 9,000 minus 5,400. You sold, oh boy. What was the selling price? Here's your sell price. You're out of business, son. Your selling price is $3,600. Oh my Lord, I'm going to throw up. You can't even buy another car that runs. You can go buy here, pay here. Pay $50 a week for the next 20 years. Anybody in here drive? You got your own car? Oh boy. Did you buy it yourself or someone give it to you? You bought it? Congratulations. Good for you. Don't sell it for 60% less. Right? You always want to buy something. You always want to buy something that you can sell for. If you can flip it and make a profit, that's great, right? Worst case scenario, you want to be able to sell it for what you paid for it. That way, that amount of time that you used it for free. Okay? It didn't cost you anything to use it other than gas and some maintenance. When people go into car lots and they buy brand new cars, that right there on the wall is what happens to them. As soon as that car leaves the lot, you can subtract about 20 or 30% right off the value of that vehicle. Brand new car. Leaves the lot, ain't worth nothing anymore. Who's chatting over here? What you need? Chat. What's the Google Classroom code? I'm in the middle of something, Keith. So y'all get the idea on these percent problems? Okay, it's more about being organized and just following the steps for each problem than it is about difficulty. You got to identify the is, the of, and the percent of each problem, and then you crisscross multiply. Some of these problems will require you to find the is or the of, and then add it or subtract it to an existing price or a sale price or something like that. If you get stuck on any of that while you're doing your assignment, come ask questions. All right? Does anybody have any questions right now? All right, so your assignment for today. I didn't talk much, so I'm going to give you a bunch of work, but it's not hard work. It's just work. So you're on page 141. This is good practice. All right, you got problems 9 through 30. All right, you got to show your work. It's going in the basket when you're done, or it's getting emailed to me. In the basket. What do we call that? We'll call that, I'm tired of writing it every day. We're going to call that ITB. That's ITB. That's in the basket. Or you're going to email a picture. We'll call that EP. E-learners are going to email a picture at the end of the period. Brick and mortars, you're going to put it in the basket at the end of the period. No, I don't have a Google Classroom code. I don't use Google Classroom. If that's the question that's being asked again. I didn't send yesterday's work because I didn't. Okay. Okay, Alan, I got you. Do you know how now? You take a picture of it and you email it to me. I don't want to sound weird or anything, but just set me up as a contact in your phone. All right? You take a picture of your work. You click the button that says mail. You type in HOL. My name will come up. Boom. Hit send, and you're done. It'll take 15 seconds. And if you set me up as a contact, it'll happen faster every day. Clear? All right. Good. If you don't have any questions from home, you're excused to exit the meeting. I am going to end this meeting as soon as I put this green border around today's assignment because I like the green border. I think I'm going to do a 2-color border today. What do you think, Kira? What color you want to go with the green? This one or that one? Okay, all right. I like your taste. Get out of the way. There we go. There we go. Oh, that just kind of makes dark, doesn't it? Maybe we'll do, here's what we'll do. We'll do 1 color on Mondays, 2 color on Tuesdays. We'll do 3 color on Wednesdays. That'll keep it zippy. I don't know what zippy means, but sounds like something my boy Sheldon Cooper would say.